I'm Robin Nielsen, and I'm the Chief Wellness Officer here at Insulite Health, PCOS.com. And I'm here with the beautiful Angie Rohal today, and we're going to talk a little bit about the PCOS journey because it can be so confusing for most women. We never get a diagnosis for the most part, and we search and we search and we search, and it's a very confusing journey, and a lot of times what we try doesn't work. So it can get very discouraging. And Angie is actually our co-director of client care, and she actually was on one of our Inspiration Hour calls last, I think it was August or so. We reached out to our beautiful community of women to interview them and hear their stories and their journeys and how they figured things out for themselves. And she was one of the rock stars that our current director of client care had selected, and it was so inspirational to hear her journey. And then when we ended up having a position come open in customer care, Angie applied. And so we've been so blessed to have her as part of our team now. She has incredible knowledge around PCOS. She's experienced this her whole life, pretty much. She's going to tell you about her journey. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the big questions that we get around what are the next steps to help to heal from PCOS. And we'll talk about some of the roadblocks, and maybe this will help you to decide where your path should go next. So I want to welcome Angie to our call today.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's so great to be here.
And Angie is, is one of our rock stars on the front line, and she definitely knows all about this condition from the inside out. And so, Angie, tell us a little bit about your journey. So when did you first experience symptoms of PCOS, and then, what happened for you?
So I really think that it started at the beginning for me at puberty. I just, from the get-go, started having really, really heavy, painful periods. And I just had horrible acne that, I was seeing a dermatologist, and I was on, minocycline and all of those antibiotics to try and, control my acne. And then by the time I was 15, I was just in so much agony all the time that I went to the doctor, and they put me on the birth control pill. And I had been on that for 9 years. And I'd probably tried, 9 different kinds of birth control pills because none of them really seemed to do the trick. And then when I was 24, I decided that I needed to stop taking the pills because I thought that they were causing, weight gain. And then I did. And as soon as I stopped them, I just started to get sick. My periods completely stopped. I put on 70 pounds in about a year and a half, and my acne got horrible, and I was just not feeling well. And so I went to doctor after doctor trying to figure out what was going on with me, and I finally found a naturopath who suggested I might have PCOS, and she led me to your company, and it was, the rest is sort of history. And now I'm, doing so much better and just so much happier.
So you were actually someone who was aware that things weren't right from pretty early on. So this happens for a lot of women, but we just don't know that it's not normal. We think that periods are supposed to be all messed up, and that, we're supposed to feel horrible, and that, we're supposed to get acne, and we're supposed to grow facial hair, and we're supposed to lose our hair, and all these awful symptoms. So tell us all of your symptoms that you had with PCOS.
Wow, there were quite a few. Weight gain, lack of periods, I had bloating, I was fatigued, I had brain fog, I had horrible acne. I started growing a mustache, and in places where hair was growing, I got hairier and coarser. And I started to lose hair, male pattern baldness. And I was just quite miserable the whole time I was going through all of that, because I just had no idea what was going on with me. And, I would talk about it with family and friends, and they would say, oh, don't worry about it. I can't even tell that your hair is thinning, or, oh, don't worry about the weight. Maybe you're just, turning into a woman, or, things like that.
Right. Oh my goodness. So I want you to stand up and show everyone the beautiful dress that you're wearing. Just spin around for us. Oh, that is so gorgeous. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty.
Thanks.
Angie, one of our team meetings said that she was going to, it was your parents' wedding anniversary celebration, and that you were able to fit into one of your dresses that you hadn't been able to wear for years.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful story and such a great celebration. And one of the really neat parts about it was that you didn't even anticipate like being able to wear that dress. You were just doing all the right things to heal from some of the symptoms of PCOS, and all of a sudden enough weight had come off or released so that you could fit into that dress. How huge was that?
What's that?
I said, how huge was that?
Oh, it was tremendous. I was practically shaking when I realized I was able to wear this, because I just put it on because I didn't have anything else to wear, because I've gone up and down with so many sizes, and I didn't really have anything nice to wear. And so I thought, okay, you know what, I'll just try it on. And when it fit, I mean, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I was just so surprised, because, when you start to lose weight, I mean, I wasn't really tracking it because the scale and I don't have a good relationship. And so I just didn't expect that I had lost so much weight. And it was just kind of like an eye-opener for me.
Yes. But it's so nice to know that if you just do the right things, your body kind of normalizes, right? Whether you're thin with PCOS or whether you're heavy with PCOS, your body just starts to sort of get to a place where it's supposed to be, regardless. And, it doesn't take as much work as we think it does, or as we've been trained to believe. So give us a little bit of a history on you, on like your journey as far as how you were feeling about some of these things that were happening to you. So, with acne and the weight gain and the hair growth in places where you didn't want it and the hair loss, like how did that impact your self-esteem? How did that impact your social life? Like, what things were going on for you?
It was just such an awful time. I mean, my self-esteem was just in the toilet. I didn't want to leave the house. I just blamed myself, and I felt so ashamed and so guilty, because I had always considered myself a healthy person. And now all of a sudden I have this unexplained weight gain, and I have, and I'm someone who, loves to, do the hair and the makeup and the clothes, and, I've gained weight, and now my body looks different. And I was so embarrassed to have people see me that way, because I just felt like I'd been failing. And so, and especially, with my friends, I mean, none of them, ever said anything about it. They were always so incredibly supportive and, loved me for me, thankfully. But it was just embarrassing, because my whole body, even my face, just changed so much. And I just looked like a different person, and I felt like a different person. And I just didn't like myself much during that time.
Yeah. So it really affects the quality of your life. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of the big questions that we get from women who are trying to find a solution. So you had tried the birth control pill. You had decided that you were not going to take it anymore. And give us the reasons for that.
I had tried so many formulations, and none of them really seemed to make me feel better. I was still left with the depression and the anxiety of PCOS, and I still had the acne, and my hair was, coming out, if not even worse, when I was on the pill, because I've been reading that can, cause hair loss. And I was still gaining weight. And so I thought, well, if this isn't helping me, then why do it? And, you know, especially now knowing what I know about how synthetic those hormones are and how it's, you know, really not natural to schedule your periods into, you know, into your calendar like that. They happen with the natural, you know, routine of your body.
Right. And we know that they don't help you heal from PCOS, right?
No.
It's a short-term solution. So you found Insulite Health through your doctor, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. She's a natural doctor, and she suggested that I just give the Insulite a try and, you know, just see how it worked for me. And it has been incredible so far. I mean, I've been on it. Coming up on my 1-year anniversary on it, and it's just, the results are incredible. When I look back at my list of symptoms, I mean, they're either have been resolved or they're starting to be resolved. I can see progress.
Yeah, so your acne has improved. Your skin looks absolutely beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
And how about your hair growth on your mustache there?
You know what? I don't have to shave it off the way that I used to. I bought one of those teeny little groomers, and I would just, you know, shave off my my little mustache, and I haven't had to do that. It's really been they're getting, you know, lighter and not as, you know, frequent up here, and so it's been great.
And you had hair, you were losing your hair, and is your hair coming back in now?
Yes, it is. I have all these little baby hairs that just sort of stick straight up on my head. And, you know, at first it's just something I was like, oh God, what are those things now? And then I realized, you know, what they are and what this means. And I was like, wow, you know, I mean, this is fantastic, because I had, you know, been reading that that's something that, you know, oh, you know, once you've lost your hair, then, you know, that's it. But now I am starting to see them grow back, and it's really great.
So you had some really profound changes, and you found the Insulite system. You started taking that about a year ago. You've tried some other things. So before you started the Insulite system, and want to point out here something that's really important, that Angie was pretty far along on her path when she started the Insulite system. So she already was, you know, working on her eating. She'd made some changes there. She had made some lifestyle changes. She'd really done a lot of homework before she started the Insulite system, because I believe it was within a month of starting taking the system that your cycle started to regulate, or that you got your cycle back at all.
Yes. Yeah, it was in the first month, and I've had it every month since. And it's, you know, it's not necessarily every 28 days. It's maybe like every 30 sometimes. But that's okay. You know, it doesn't have to be every 28 days, like you know, on the calendar like that. It's just nice to know that my body is back in its normal rhythm and doing what it's supposed to do.
Yes, absolutely. So the Insulite system helped you pretty quickly get to a place where you were feeling so much better, and the symptoms started improving so fast. So that's really awesome. For, you know, for some women, when they come to us, they have some big questions, and they're not, you know, nearly as far along the path. So what are some of the questions that we get? Like, what are some of the concerns that women have?
They want to know how soon that they're going to start to see results. They are just in the same place I was, where they're desperate, and, you know, they just can't take it anymore, and they just need to know that this isn't going to let them down like the other, you know, other things that they've tried. And, you know, I always tell them that this is a system, and, you know, the supplements are just, you know, one component of that, and we've got a 5-element system, and it's fantastic because it's really just got all your bases covered. You know, I mean, it talks about how to use food to help heal your body and help you feel better, and, you know, what foods are, you know, potentially making you feel worse, and how to exercise, because I think that that's something that with PCOS you have to unlearn everything that you've been taught in, you know, like Fitness and Shape magazine, you know, about exercising 2 hours a day to lose weight, and, you know, learning about your cravings and why you're craving, and just getting the support from other women who have PCOS. And I think that when you get that's, you know, all planned out, and, you know, you start with the supplements and you do the 5-element system, I do think that you see results very quickly.
Yes. So you mentioned, you know, it is a 5-element system. It's not just the nutraceuticals. You were a little bit ahead of the game when you started, you know, taking the nutrients, because you just knew more at that point. But you know, one of the reasons that we wanted to do this interview is because it's so important just to keep moving along the path of wellness. So whatever that is for you, if it's you know, just taking that next step and signing up for a newsletter, you know, about PCOS, or just reading some information on our website about, you know, one of the conditions that you have, you know, that's helping your genes express themselves in a healthier way. So anytime we learn more information that's around our healing, right, then our genes actually start to express themselves for the better. And so there are many ways to get involved with us. One is through the Insulite system, but if you're just for some reason hesitant about that, then we have our private community where, you know, we are a sisterhood, literally. And we have what we call our Empowered Hour Q&A calls every month. And we have all sorts of fun things going on in there. And that's just $25 a month. So if you are a customer already, it's at no charge, but you can join for $25 a month if you're not, so you can get your feet wet and start to understand a little bit more about what our community and support is all about. And then we have the Freedom from PCOS program, you know, and that is a great way to do more of a deep dive into our 5-element system. And as Angie was talking about, a lot of what we learn, we have to unlearn a lot of things. So exercise, food, you know, as women, we've learned to over-exercise and under-eat, you know, and so we have to really change that around. We've learned to count everything, right? Count our calories, count our steps, count this, count that, you know, it's crazy. And so we need to just start loving on ourselves a little bit more. So we have a lot of ways to get involved. And Angie, of course, is instrumental in all of them. So a couple more maybe just bits of info on what are some of the big roadblocks for women who are coming in. I think medications are one, right?
Yes, yeah, they just want to know, is it okay to take, you know, the standard, you know, medications that they get prescribed for PCOS, such as metformin and the birth control pill, along with the Insulite.
Mm-hmm. And so we know that it's okay to do those together, and what you'll want to do is just sort of monitor your progress and wean off your meds, you know, as you start to feel better with your doctor, right? You always want to get your doctor's support on that. But know that you're going to start really seeing some great changes. So you're going to want to really monitor the drugs that you're on so that you're, you know, not hurting yourself. And you had tried some other things before you tried the Insulite system. And so why, you know, what were they, and why did you keep searching?
They were also natural systems that were for PCOS. They were just natural supplements, and they just, I didn't have the same results. I was still, you know, had those healthy habits in place of the healthy diet and the exercise, but they just didn't get me to the point where I was feeling energetic and where I was just feeling good. They just didn't have anywhere near the amount of vitamins and minerals and nutraceuticals as what is in the Insulite. And they just, I mean, they might have helped with some things, but they did not help with anywhere near the amount as what the Insulite has helped with. It's just, I can just tell the difference. I just feel like a different person when I'm on the Insulite.
And not enough for you to stop your searching. I mean, you know, you did them and it didn't work, or it didn't work enough, and so you still needed to keep looking.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned brain fog is a big thing for you. And then all of a sudden one day when you were on the Insulite system, it just cleared up, like you.
Yeah, and that's in the same thing with the bloating. They both just were one of those things where it was just interfering with my daily life, and it was one of the reasons when I started going through PCOS and I wasn't, doing it, taking anything for it because I didn't, know that I had it at that point. I had to quit working because I was just so tired and just felt so horrible, and I had such horrible brain fog, and it was so hard to even do the smallest thing. And now, I mean, it's, like the clouds have lifted and I can just think clearly, and I'm energetic and I'm digesting my food well, and it's just incredible. And those things just, all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's not like it used to be, it just kind of great surprise there.
Yeah, it's easy to notice what's not working, but when things improve, we're good and we forgot all about it. So it's nice to notice what improved and really celebrate those successes, big or small. So we talked about medications being a really big concern, coming into the Insulite system, and how soon will one notice changes. And that really depends on, what's going on with your body. It takes time, right, to regulate hormones. And we usually say, you need to give it at least 3 months. 6 months is better. We had a customer recently who had never tried our system before and bought a 6-month supply because she is going to give it her all. And I was just so excited for her. And I believe she's doing our Freedom from PCOS program as well. So she's really jumping in with both feet. So let's end this interview with three words of advice from Angie for those women who are suffering from symptoms of PCOS or hormone imbalance or whatever it is.
Well, I would say my first piece of advice would be don't give up, because there is a solution. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's hard right now because it's just so overwhelming because you just don't feel well, but it's so important to fight for yourself, because you deserve to feel healthy and you deserve to feel excellent every single day. And you really have to sort of be your own kind of champion in this, because it's difficult with PCOS, and it's just difficult with all the symptoms and the way, it sort of, it gets you at every area of your life. And so it's definitely don't give up. And I would definitely say also you have to be patient, because sometimes it just takes time. Whenever I first started, it just took time. I didn't start to lose the weight right away. I had to just kind of be patient and let my body just, get into its natural sort of rhythm and let it heal. And then, after a while, it started, losing weight consistently, and it's just kept coming off. So just don't give up and be patient. And the last thing I would say is get some support, because when I was first diagnosed with PCOS, I was the only person I ever knew that had it. I didn't have any friends who had it. My mom didn't have it, and so I had no idea, if I was alone in this. But, now I can see, just from the support system that we have in the Google Plus communities, that it's just so great to watch you guys interacting with each other and cheering each other on, and, celebrating each other, and sort of, being each other's, shoulders to cry on sometimes when you're frustrated. And, it's fantastic when we help each other like this, because it just makes you feel so good.
It makes all the difference, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, it sometimes brings tears to my eyes. It makes me dance. It's just amazing. And believe me, there's a woman out there who's been in your shoes, and she's there to support you every step of the way.
Yeah.
So Angie's great 3 tips are to never give up, to be patient, and to, get a support community. And we certainly have one here for you if and when you're ready to join us. So it's been so great sharing some of our insights with you. It's been really important for us to shorten your learning curve as much as possible. A lot of us have suffered for many, many, many years, and it doesn't make any sense when we have all this knowledge and we know that if you just do these certain simple things that you can feel so much better so quickly. So we call them, our tips or our biohacks, the PCOS way. And we're here to support you every step of the way. And I thank you so much, Angie, for sharing your beautiful journey and your story, because I know that every day you help so many of our customers and so many who are seeking answers, who have yet to become customers, and just your story alone just makes all the difference for women. It gives them great hope. So thank you so much for sharing today.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me share my story.
You are welcome. All right, goodbye everyone, and we'll see you again very soon.
Bye.